Is that possible? You used to live here, right?
Right. Now let me think. About a year ago, they had one that entered the Columbia River up north of Puget Sound in Oregon.
Yeah.
And swam all the way to the Klamath Falls area. Now, you've got one in White River?
So they say.
Okay, I'm trying to think. The only way he could get in there is like if he entered the Mississippi from the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is possible. They go up rivers quite a bit. You've got a problem as far as getting him out is concerned.
Why do you say that?
Pardon?
Why?
Well, you've got to somehow reverse him and swim him all the way back to the Gulf of Mexico.
Now, you're laughing, but that would be a problem, wouldn't it?
Definitely a problem. Now, this is entirely possible. Hey, listen, they do this all the time.
Who does it all the time?
The whales do. Yeah, they enter freshwater tributaries. There's even freshwater dolphins.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they had to have real deep water to get them.
Not necessarily what they do when they go in feeding patterns. They've even been known to beach themselves on several occasions. Now, you've got one in a freshwater tributary in the White River?
Yeah, well, I guess that's what you call it.
Yeah. Now, this can be done. It may sound absolutely ridiculous, but it's entirely possible. You know, what they do, they follow some of the plankton and the food fishes up into the freshwater tributaries because they trap the fishes there, and then they just follow the migratory patterns on up.
Well, I've never heard of this before, Bob.
You've never heard of this before?
No.
Hey, listen, it happens all the time, quite frequently around the coastal areas, from, say, Florida to New York, and from Oregon all the way down into Baja California. They go up into the freshwater rivers.
So the solution now is somehow to get that thing going south.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's really quite simple to do. It will take some time, but I'm surprised he's made it that far.
What do you mean it'll take time?
Well, you've got to turn him around and swim him back down.
Not me.
Well, somebody has to.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe we can get a hold of, we got a Dr. Nathaniel Archibald here. Maybe he'll know what to do. I don't know.
That's entirely possible.
Okay, Bob.
It's quite a problem. Not necessarily for the whale. I'm sure he's quite content. But just the idea of having, a whale in your river in Indiana it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but it's entirely possible.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you can verify that.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, Bob, and thanks so much for talking to us.
You're more than welcome. Let me know how the outcome.
We certainly will.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye. And there's a call to Los Angeles.
Hello.
Where are you?
We're back down to 30th Street. Wally the whale turned around and came back down to 30th Street, where he's been nosing around the bridge over White River. Here at 30th, we're calling from the phone in the outside the Naval Armory at this point. But I heard your conversation with Bob Plurman a while ago.
In Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. That was interesting because that was going to be my next question for Dr. Archibald was could the whale survive on the food that he could catch in White River? And Dr. Archibald confirmed what Bob said. Yes, apparently he could. I don't know about turning him around and carrying him back where he's going, though. I don't know how they're, this is what they would like to do, but so far nobody's come up with a way to do it.
Well, I don't know who would be an authority on that sort of thing if Dr. Archibald doesn't know.
Well, he says, I suppose there are several ways they could do it. They could put boats in the river from the north, for example, and bring them down here and perhaps, chase the whale. But by the same token, if the whale gets mad, he might just ram one of the boats.
Yeah. Well, you keep in touch now and let us know if they do come up with some idea like that.
Okay, fine enough. As things stand right now, everything is static. I have been asked, by the way, once again, to please advise motorists not to congest around the area where where we're reporting from, because it has created some traffic problems already this morning.
Okay.
Okay, Joe.
If you hear any more, let us know.
Fine enough, sir.
Maybe we're being inundated with the damn things. Maybe we're invaded. It's a monstrous thing. Oh, well, it's a whale. Big gray top and a little white, white underneath, white bottom, and gray black on top, and right there by the bridge.
But I was up there, and I was up at 30th and White River an hour and a half ago when you made a broadcast from there.
Yes, I'd like to report that whale down by 30th Street.
Yeah, I saw the whale this morning on the way to work. Well, it was a big fish-like thing. not 20, it was gray. It was about 20 to 25 feet long. And as I was driving by, he yawned.
Well, just kind of floating in the water. It was big and gray. Maybe about 3 or 4 blocks south of 30th Street, the bridge over 30th Street.
Okay, it looked like it was about anywhere from 20 to 25 feet long. And the height was, well, it must have been at least 10 foot high.
Hello, I'm Jean Kaufman from your Indiana State Employment Service. We show a seasonal job opening today for a whale catcher wanted in the vicinity of White River. Prospective must have own transportation and tools for the job. Experience is desired and salary will be based on the job performance. In the same area, there's a call for a traffic dispatcher able to handle disgruntled sightseers. Tact is a must and wages will be according to the task done. WXLW reminds you to call the Employment Service if you have a job listing. If you need a job, come see us at 141 West Georgia or at any of our brand new full-service neighborhood operations, north, south, east, and west, where there is no fee.
This is a CBS Net Alert Bulletin from the CBS Oceanographic Center in Virginia Beach. Paul Ott reporting. What was originally taken for a prank has grown into a full-fledged mystery. Medium-sized whales of as yet unknown variety have shown up in as many as half a dozen lakes and inland waterways. Early morning reports from Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Delaware, and Texas were first dismissed as prank reports, but were later confirmed by marine biologists and oceanographic experts. And just moments ago, the CBS Oceanographic Center received word of another whale sitting on Lake Mead. Experts are puzzled as to the origins of the big water mammals, while many believe it is possible that at least some of the whales could have swum upriver by themselves. Many are in areas that would clearly have been impossible to navigate without human guidance. It is generally believed that someone or some group, possibly vacationing college students, may have planted the whales as a prank. Previous reports involving the Symbionese Liberation Army are thought to be false. This has been a CBS Net Alert Report. I'm Paul Ott at the CBS Oceanographic Center at Virginia Beach.
How long have you been looking now?
Well, we've been looking for probably about a half an hour. We didn't know exactly where to look. They told us the 38th Street Bridge.
And but you haven't seen anything yet yourself?
I haven't seen anybody that has seen anything. There are park department people working all the way down to the golf course, and they're laughing about it, that they haven't seen anything.
How about you, young fella?
I don't know. I'm just looking too.
And how about you? Have you seen the whale yet at all?
No, I've been looking for about an hour and a half, but I haven't seen it. We started way down like about Michigan and Falk and the river, and we haven't seen it yet.
Michigan. You weren't one of the guys that reporter said got tipped over in the boat, were you?
No. I wasn't, but I'm looking.
But you say you've now been looking for about an hour and a half?
Yeah, we've been out looking for about an hour and a half.
Well, last report that the one reporter, you know, those of us in the media generally tune around to other stations and things like that, and the last report I heard was that this would be about where we'd find him.
Well, we were just right down here turning around thinking it might have turned around at the dam, and we were just right up here about a few blocks away, and we didn't see it. That was before they reported it out here, so.
You say you have not seen a whale yet?
No, it just came out now, because I heard it on the radio, and I was going to park at the art museum to avoid contributing to the traffic jam. But I haven't seen a thing. They said there was a traffic jam here. There's no traffic jam. Everything is perfectly normal.
That's what I noticed, that, maybe people figured it was a hoax and left. I don't know.
Maybe it's a hoax. Yeah, I don't know. I can't give you any...
last I heard, this is where it was supposed to be.
I heard that report, too. But I don't know anything. I can't help you. I wish I could give you a real scoop, you know. Moby Dick is there, but I don't...
I guess there are a couple of reporters who've seen him. I haven't been so lucky.
Where are all the people who are on the, jamming the roads?
I don't know.
Well, there's nothing the way it was described. There was a big traffic jam, and they were asking the people to keep away, but there's no traffic jam here now.
I just don't know what to think. In a way, I kind of wish they would find one, because of the having a whale right here in White River, but I don't give it much hope to live with all this debris and clutter and everything, how it could survive. Anything can happen.
How long have you been looking?
Oh, we were out, my husband and I were out earlier this morning, and then we decided we'd come back and see if we could see him spouting or what have you. We followed it from 30th Street down to
16th and then back up here to 38th Street, and my husband says, there isn't anything out here, so he made me go home, but now I got my neighbor.
You live near here then?
Yeah, not too far. My family lives down in Florida, and they see a lot of porpoise and whale, and I'd like to be able to call them and say, hey, guess what we got up here in White River?
Well, it'd be a first.
Yeah, it would. And the only thing that's concerned me, if they really would find one, how they'd get it out of here alive, you know? Whether they would take the expense of getting it out of here alive.
Well, I don't know. I heard one guy say they're just going to try and get him to turn around and go back where he came from.
Yeah, well, it might be the Loch Ness Monster. We got our own now.
Hello?
Hello, Bob.
Yes, Bill.
This is your brother Bill.
Hey, good to talk to you.
Yes, we really have got quite a few conflicting reports, and I thought I would call you up again today. I know you were on the Joe Pickett show earlier this morning, and,
right.
And let the afternoon listeners in on a bit about what we talked about this morning, or what you and Joe did. First of all, tell the people about your credentials. So you are we will let them know that you have the ability to talk in the line that you're going to talk.
Well, as you know, I have a degree in biology, and for the past 5 years I've been employed by a large oceanarium out here on the East Coast, or the West Coast rather, in which we did some extensive work with marine mammals and cetaceans.
And you have dealt with whales, right?
Oh, definitely.
You have even trained whales, correct?
Definitely. Been in the water with them on several occasions.
And you've even ridden on their back, correct?
That's true.
Are they a dangerous animal?
It all depends. They can be. It's very, very difficult to say as particular animals. The baleen whales, the toothed whales, they can be very dangerous at times.
Well, now, of course, you know that we have had a report that there was a sighting of a whale. I have not seen it myself, Bob.
Yeah, no, I heard about this when I talked to Joe this morning. And you have it in one of the tributaries or rivers up there?
White River. I think you're familiar with it, Bob, when you live in Muncie.
Right.
And is it possible that a mammal of that size could get up in this general area through White River?
Yeah, it's, although very improbable, it's extremely possible. They have been known on several occasions to go up into the tributaries here on the coast and from the Gulf of Mexico. So it's entirely possible.
Well, what is the possibility of an April Fool joke where some college students, have you heard of any reports of any missing whales throughout the country? They could have possibly captured it and brought it up here and put it into one of the rivers. Is this possible?
It's possible, but here again, improbable just because of the transport alone, although it can be done. Now, you can keep these animals out of water for extended periods of time as long as you keep their skin moist. So it's entirely possible that it could have been transported in this manner.
Has there been any reportings of any whales that you know of that have been taken?
That have been taken?
Right.
Not that I know of, although probably the oceanariums would keep this quiet at this time until they did find out what happened to the animal. It's hard to explain, you know.
Why would they do this, Bob?
How to lose a whale.
Yeah, that would be kind of a weird story, right?
Yeah, it would.
Well, now, what if the possibility of the whale getting lodged somewhere because of the shallow water, or possibly, would a whale ever attempt to maybe even jump over a bridge or something?
Oh, yeah, they've been known to do this. There's been mass strandings of animals, like up to a whole pod of them. It would be, in excess to 30 to 40 animals. This happens on the coast here. It happens in Florida, Norway, all the time. As far as jumping, it's entirely possible that they could jump great distances. They do this out in the ocean anyway. They leap up out of the water great distances to dislodge barnacles and parasites when they come back down.
Well, if he got lodged, what would we have to do? Get some kind of a crane or something to...
Oh, you'd be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, if he was caught or stranded and or pinched in some enclosure by some way. About the only way you'd be able to remove him, and here again, you'd have to use massive crane to do this. I don't think you'd be able to get a ship large enough to tow him off of the area.
Well, how about a disbursement of the animal in some ways? Is this possible?
Here again, it's difficult to say. You might be doing him a service.
By putting him away.
Right.
What would be somebody called up on
whatever you'd want to use to do this.
Well, Bob, you certainly have been very helpful, and we'll contact you at a later date.
I'd be very much interested to, as far as the follow-up of this is to what you've done. Okay?
Nice talking to you, brother.
Hey, nice talking to you, Bill. Good luck now.
Okay, bye-bye. 6 before 3 from...
The whale is now just about at the White River Bridge of Michigan Road. That would be Northwestern Avenue, US 421. where the whale is resting in some repose at this point, apparently somewhat oblivious to his surroundings. However, officials have now decided that for the safety of everybody concerned, including the whale has got to go, and they want to get it out of the area, or at least have things under their control as opposed to the whale's control by sundown. However, a couple of items have been discussed and dismissed. One idea, which probably would have been the quickest, but perhaps the most dangerous, was to use dynamite either to divert the whale or to send it south or to actually destroy it. They have not entirely ruled out the possibility of using it to divert the whale, perhaps into a strategic location for capture, but they say they will not destroy the beast in that manner, and they hope not to destroy it at all. The next idea was to use a tranquilizer gun to stun the whale. However, that wouldn't work because if for some reason the tranquilizer dart did not stick in the whale's flesh, it would fall into the river and unleash a possibly lethal dose of tranquilizer liquid into the river and kill off some of the smaller marine life which lives there. So as a consequence, they're working on a couple of things. They have one plan which they have not yet disclosed to the press, which they're talking about. This would be some sort of a secret plan that they have for perhaps stunning the whale long enough that they might be able to pull it out, place it in an open tank truck, and thereby haul it out to the airport, take it in a water container to perhaps warmer surroundings such as either the Mississippi River or perhaps fly all the way down to New Orleans to the Gulf of Mexico and there release it. But as of right now, the whale is out of sight of most of the area except for if you happen to catch it just right off US 421, and that's where we're reporting from. This is Paul Shearing, WXLW News.
Thank you very much. Paul Shearing in the studios with us. Paul, you just got back from the river, right?
That's right. I've been out at the river all day, and I'll be going back out after the 5 p.m. news. I've been listening to some of the callers expressing some skepticism about the whale in White River, and like the lady who suggested it was a two-man sub, well, that would be fine, except that those of us who saw the whale leap the dam at 16th Street...
You're kidding. It leaped...
Yeah, that's what happened this morning.
I didn't hear that.
It had to come up that, it was coming upstream from southwestern Marion County, and it got to the dam, and it had to go over it, so it, after it tried to nudge its way up and couldn't make it, why, it backed off a little ways and took a running or swimming start, as it were, and did a rather impressive leap.
When was the last sighting now, Paul?
The last sighting, it's been wandering around between about Michigan Road and about Grandview, about where the Highland Country Club is. It's been in that area throughout most of the afternoon. It was up as high as Ravenswood at one point.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard of any solutions now possible for...
They're talking about something which they have not chosen to divulge to the media yet, as far as how they're going to stun the whale. They say they won't use a tranquilizer gun because if the gun, if the dart doesn't lodge properly and it falls into the water, it will unleash this tranquilizer serum and presumably kill off some of the smaller fish because of the dosage that would be necessary to stun the whale. So they're talking about something else, and they haven't told us exactly what it is. But they do want the job done by 6 o'clock. I talked to some of the people who are in charge of the operation out there, and they suggested that they want the job done by 6 or 6:30, but definitely before the sun goes down tonight.
Well, okay, Paul, we'll keep the listeners up to date with a report sometime around...
Like I say, I'll be going right back out after the 5 o'clock news, and I'll have some more details on that newscast.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
All right, this is hard to believe. All morning we've been talking about that whale in White River, and by golly, this old Joe, we're at 421 now, and I can see that whale. And as I understand it, Bill, they're going to blow it up. So I've been here at Highland Golf and Country Club practicing my famous golf swing. White River runs over behind the practice tee. As we were swinging in the golf club over there, we saw it and heard people saying, there it is, there it is. And then it swam a little south to 421 on the bridge beneath the bridge at 421, and it's lying with folks down. There's some type of a demolition crew here, and they're going to blow it up. Yeah, they're going to blow that whale sky high, I think. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but this demolition crew is ready to go, and we're going to see what happens right now to the whale.
Okay, Bill, we're on the scene now near the Rocky Ripple area of White River, near Highland Country Club, where the whale is finally going to be removed. There will be a shot fired which will stun the whale. Then the frogmen, the various demolitions people who are around here will secure the whale, ropes with the whale. We will hear a winch following up the... moving the whale up onto the dry land area and into a tank, which will then take the whale to Weircook Airport, where a jet plane is standing by to fly the whale in a water-containing crate to the Gulf of Mexico. This is implausible, but this whole story has been implausible all day. We, through the miracle of an extension phone line, have managed to get right down here now to the river's edge. This is something we haven't been able to do previous to today, but as of right now, we are standing right down here by the river's edge, and we're starting now to hear we have heard a couple of times the whale has made noise now that we can detect, which is kind of interesting because we'd never heard a whale make noise except on those service announcement spots which we had been running earlier. But now I've heard it in person. It's really kind of a strange thing, these whale noises which you hear. I don't know exactly whether it's trying to tell us something or maybe it knows what's in store. But in any case, we are waiting just momentarily. A shot will be fired from a nearby hilltop, and hopefully that's going to, that shot will stun the whale, and we will then try to secure it, move it up and into this tank for a brief trip to Weirkook Airport, and then a flight to the Gulf of Mexico. I'm trying to see if there's a signal coming up here from our from the people who have promised to keep me posted down here, because I can't really see the shot where it's being swung from. I can hear it, but there's kind of a blind spot that I'm looking at. Are they ready, gentlemen? Are they ready with the shot? Okay, I think then in that case, whatever's right, I guess we're going to wait just momentarily, and as just a few moments from now, we're waiting, and I believe the shot is about to be fired right now. And what you just heard was a golf swing, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Pickett, WXLW's own resident golfer, taking a swing. The whale has been hit. You may have heard the groan, and the whale is slipping down into the water. It appears that the shot, a pinpoint accurate shot, did strike the whale in the forehead. It is stunned. The divers are in, securing the whale now. We're waiting to, as soon as they get the ropes tied around it, they'll be lifting the whale out. They've moved a huge derrick in here, and now you may hear the derrick picking it up as the ropes have been secured, and the derrick is now beginning to function. The whale is coming out of the water. It looks a good deal bigger than the 20 feet, which we had originally thought it was, but maybe that's just because it's now out over dry land. And they're lifting it up. It's now about 8-9 feet off of the ground. They're moving it over now toward the truck, the tank truck, the open-top tank truck, which has been filled with water. And in just a second, they're going to lower it in. Now the winch is beginning to come down. The ropes are being released. And the whale is now in the tank truck. The whale is now out of White River. The tank truck will now be leaving the area, taking the whale to Weirkook Airport. It'll be transferred now into a tank for transport by an airliner to the Gulf of Mexico.
Now, really, wasn't that a whale of a tale?
WXLW, Indianapolis.
The Bill Shirk News is on the air. Dateline, Indianapolis. A white whale in Indianapolis's White River. Well, that's what someone told the Indianapolis Police Department this morning, and the dispatcher was swamped with so many calls that police were finally forced to send out a squad car to check on the fish story. Nothing even remotely resembling a whale turned up, but today is also April Fool's Day.
Wait. What? There's some people in the studio. What are these people doing in the studios? Look out! No, what? Oh, wait. Somebody kill that microphone. We don't.
Would we fool you? You bet we would.
April Fool!